The lens we're going to talk about today is beyond photography. The capability of this lens is a great news for the videographers, especially who shoot wedding, sports and short films. Today we are going to review Tamron's 28-75 F2.8 lens, which is for Sony E-Mount full frame cameras. This lens is absolutely magical and it's a smart lens. Now why am I saying that? For that you got to watch the video right till the end. To subscribe to our channel, we are going to begin right now. This particular lens is a III VXD G2 lens and it is a much improvised version of the previous one. Now to connect the lens, you will need a USB to Type-C cable, which is not provided with the lens in the box. You have to buy it separately for a price of 1,350. Now talking about the focal length, since this lens has a focal length of 28-75mm, it is very good for daily use. You can shoot street, you can shoot landscape, you can shoot portraits. It has a really good range. With a wide opening of f2.8, you can shoot amazing portraits in low light condition and get sharp images. The lens is very user-friendly and lightweight. You can carry it along with you without any hassle. The lens is really compact as compared to the previous model. Talking about the weight of the lens is solid build, yet it weighs only 540 grams and the length is 117.6 mm. The lens has been redesigned and has a solid texture grip. Moreover, it has a nice contouring on the body which makes the lens resistant to scratches. The lens also has a Type-C connection where you can connect the lens to your laptop or PC to configure it using the lens utility, which we're going to talk about now. And the particular port, the USB port, is weather sealed. Tamron's 28-75 lens comes with VXD, which is having high precision and high speed autofocusing capabilities. It offers excellent object tracking for moving objects. The autofocus motor is quiet for photo and videos both and is ideal for conditions where silence is required. Has direct manual focus, in-camera lens correction for chromatic aberration, shading and distortion, as well as fast hybrid autofocus. The lens achieves the MOD minimum object distance of 0.18 m, which is 7.1 inch at 28 mm and 0.38 m, which is 15 inch at 75 mm end. You can now get some amazing close-up and macro shots. Unified filter size of 67 mm is the same for other Tamron E-Mount. All the Tamron lenses have this unique feature, which is having a moisture-resistant construction coupled with fluorine coating. This offers additional protection when shooting outdoors and repels water and oil. The C-type connector is also waterproof. The lens has outstanding optical performance. With 17 elements in 15 groups, quality of the lens is outstanding. Now comes the most interesting part about this lens and this video. We are going to go outdoor and we are going to use the lens utility application. We are going to connect the lens to the laptop and one by one I'm going to demonstrate each of the feature to you, and you are really going to be spellbound with what this small lens can achieve, and it's going to be an amazing experience. So let's go out and shoot. So here we are in the outdoors and we're going to test this 28-75 f2.8 lens from Tamron. I'm going to show you all the functions that we can cover in the lens utility one by one. And the very first one that we're going to cover is the A to B focus shift. Now what is A to B focus shift? So I have both of my subject here, point A, point B. So now I'm going to set the point A. Now since I have tapped on her, I'm going to press the lens button for a second. This is the point B. And once she's in focus, simply press the button for a second. And now both the points have been seamlessly recorded. You can see the focus has moved from her to her. Now we are going to move the focus back from her to her. Now many of you will tell me that I already have a touch operation on my camera on the display. I can just tap and shift the focus, but that's not that easy. Suppose you're shooting with the camera on your eye level and you need to shift, you cannot be moving the camera up and down to shift focus, right? So once you press this button after you lock the focus, the camera will seamlessly move the focus from point A to point B. And another very fantastic feature is that by using the lens utility option, the software, you can select the transition from point A to B, how slow the focus should shift between both those subjects. It can be very fast, it can be slow, it can be medium, and it can be very slow. So this makes your life very simple. Now what happens is that when you're shooting weddings and people tend to move between point A and point B, and that when the camera starts to do the focus hunting, and you tend to lose a lot of good moments. Now anybody that passes through them, the focus is not going to shift, not going to do any kind of focus hunting, because the focus has been locked on either of the points and it will not move to any other focal point. Now let's talk about the next lens utility feature, that is the focus preset. Now whenever we are doing any kind of street photography or wedding photography, what happens is the main subject, like the bride, we don't want that particular subject to go out of focus. But because of the focus hunting, this problem is a big issue when you're shooting for wedding assignment or street assignment. Simply, we want to lock the focus on the bride, and that will be a focus preset. And if you are zooming out from 75mm and coming back to 28mm, or from 28mm to 75mm, at a click of the button, the lens is going to immediately detect the subject and focus on it, and that makes your life very easy. Otherwise, you have to keep searching for the subject and tapping on it, or probably doing a manual focus. So we are now going to demonstrate how this feature works. Now let's go to the focus set button. We'll say select. Let's look for focus preset, and again you can choose how fast or slow the transition should happen. From 0, 1, 2, this is fast, -1, -2 to -5, this is the slowest. Okay, let's select -3, and we have saved this setting, and that's it. And now what we're going to do is we are going to lock the focus preset on the subject and zoom from 75mm to 28 and from 28 to 75mm and see how it works. Now simply I'm going to tap on the subject. It's selected. I'm going to press the button on the lens for a second. Focus preset has been recorded. Even if you move from 75 to 28 or 28 to 75, or at a click of a button, your camera is going to focus straight on the bride, who is the subject and our focus preset point. Now you can see the subject is in focus at 28mm, but the moment I start to zoom in on her, she's out of focus. But at a click of one button, because we have set it at a focus preset point, here we go, Viola, she has come into focus just at a click of a button. Now this is so handy. Now let's move on to another function which is a really beauty. Let's go to the focus set button setting, select, and we'll use this ring function for focus and aperture. We selected. So once you do that, you say save. It will ask you hold for 1 second or press. I recommend that you always use the hold for 1 second, because we have been using that throughout. Once you press the button for 1 second, this function will be into action. Okay. By pressing this button for a second, we have now activated the switch focus ring function. The screen has turned into the orange. That means the F value is now into orange mode. Now let's shift it, and as we do that, you can see the aperture is narrowing down from 2.8 to 6.3, 7.18, and as we go further, it's a darkened, of course, because the aperture opening is very, very narrow. And once you switch back, you turn it back, you can see the aperture is back to 2.8. So you saw how beautifully this ring function. Otherwise this would be only used for manual focusing. By using the lens utility, you can make use of this ring and customize the lens the way you want. And this is very, very important for videographers to have easy access to all these settings when you're shooting your assignments. Now let's move from the ring function, which is a focus aperture setting, to autofocus and manual focus. Again we'll use hold 1 second and we'll say save. Now at a click of a button, this lens will shift from autofocus to a manual focus. Now if I hold it for a second and turn this ring over here, you will notice it has shifted from autofocus to manual focus. Here we go. And if I press it again for a second, here it has shifted back to the autofocus. Just tap and the subject is in focus. This makes your life so simple. From shifting from autofocus to manual focus, just a click of one button, you can move between both the focusing operations. So as we can see, this is such a versatile lens. It has so many functions to offer at a click of a button, and one of them is you can reverse your focusing ring, because at times you have a lot of lenses in your kit and it becomes really difficult at times for a muscle memory to know, okay, this way if I turn the ring it will going to sway, it's going to focus, and if I turn it this way it will go out of focus. So you can also customize this focus ring by going to the panel in the lens utility, and you can set it to default or reverse, linear or non-linear. I mean, so much function in one lens. This is really commendable. Also, once you're done with everything and you think, okay, your shoot is over, you can go to the panel and you can clear the factory settings, because if you want to give your lens to a friend to use and if you have not done that, the previous setting will be on the lens. So it's always better to do the factory reset so that the lens is back to its normal. Now before we move on to talk about the benefits of this lens, which are in abundance because we showed you one by one using the lens utility application that a lens can offer so much, I would like to tell you that one challenge that I feel is that you have only one single button, so you got to go to the application again and again, connect it to your laptop and PC and change the mode one by one. But however, in the upcoming lens which we are going to review, Tamron 150mm lens, that has many buttons on the lens, so you can assign these functions to each button so that you do not go and connect the lens again and again to the PC or laptop, and you can continue using it without any hassles. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. To sum up the review, my final takeaways are that this lens is such a brilliant lens that you can use the lens utility and customize the lens and do so much with it. This is going to be a really go-to gear for filmmakers who are into wedding photography or into wedding videography, who are shooting short film. With a wide aperture, you can shoot in low light condition. Priced at 82,000 rupees, this lens is a value for money lens. In the description below, I'm going to give you the link to the website where you can go and check the specs of the lens in depth. Also, in the past, we have reviewed Tamron other lenses. You can go and check them as well.